Dogs don't just fetch sticks and guard houses. Sometimes they do something that defies every logical explanation we try to give them. They sense danger we can't see, react to threats we don't understand, and make decisions that shouldn't be possible for an animal operating purely on instinct. These 5 dogs didn't just bark at the right moment. They saw death coming and refused to let it win. Number 5. Alaska, 2019. A woman named Rebecca was walking her Labrador along a frozen trail when the ice beneath her gave way. The water was 4 degrees. Her body seized instantly. She couldn't scream, couldn't swim, couldn't think. But her dog didn't hesitate. He lunged into the water, positioned himself under her arms, and pushed her toward the edge. She grabbed his collar. He dragged her across broken ice for 20 meters until solid ground appeared. She survived because her dog understood something most humans don't. Hesitation kills. But here's what makes that story strange. Rebecca had only adopted the dog 3 weeks earlier. He barely knew her. There was no bond built over years, no deep loyalty forged through time. Just instinct, or maybe something we don't have a word for yet. Number 4. A house fire in Ohio, middle of the night. Smoke detectors failed. The family was asleep. Their German shepherd started barking. Not the usual alert bark, but something frantic, relentless. The father woke up angry, ready to yell at the dog for disturbing the silence. Then he smelled it. Smoke pouring through the vents. Flames already climbing the walls. He grabbed his kids. They made it out with seconds to spare. The fire marshal said another 2 minutes and the stairs would have collapsed. The dog didn't stop barking until every person was outside. What's unsettling isn't just that the dog sensed danger. It's that he refused to leave until the job was finished. That's not training, that's decision-making. Number 3 takes us to a diabetic woman in Texas whose blood sugar dropped to dangerous levels while she slept. Her golden retriever had never been trained as a medical alert dog. No certifications, no specialized skills. But that night, the dog started pawing at her face, whining, pulling at the blankets. She woke up disoriented, confused. The dog ran to her medication, knocked the bag onto the floor, and barked until she understood. She tested her glucose. Critical range. If she'd stayed asleep another hour, she wouldn't have woken up. The question no one can answer is how the dog knew. Scent? Behavioral cues? Or something deeper? Something we've spent centuries trying to dismiss because it makes us uncomfortable? These aren't miracle stories, they're pattern breaks. Moments where instinct becomes intelligence, where loyalty becomes foresight. And the next 2 stories push that boundary even further. Because what happens when a dog doesn't just react to danger in the moment, but anticipates it before it arrives? Number 2. A family in Washington State, 2021. Their husky started acting strange 3 days before the earthquake hit. Pacing, whining, refusing to go inside the house. They thought he was sick. Took him to the vet. Nothing wrong. The dog kept circling the yard, barking at the foundation, scratching at the door to get the family outside. Then the ground started shaking. 6.2 magnitude. The house didn't collapse, but the bedroom where their daughter slept, ceiling caved in. If she'd been in that room, she wouldn't have survived. The dog had moved her toys into the hallway that morning, pushed them with his nose until she followed, playing in a different part of the house when the quake struck. Seismologists say animals can detect vibrations humans miss. Fine. That explains reaction. It doesn't explain preparation. It doesn't explain a dog relocating a child hours before disaster. Number 1 is the hardest to process. A boy in Florida, 7 years old, wandered away from his family during a camping trip. Search teams deployed, hundreds of volunteers, helicopters, thermal imaging, nothing. 48 hours passed. Then their beagle, who'd been with the search party, broke away from handlers, sprinted into the woods. They followed. The dog led them 2 miles off trail to a ravine no one had checked. The boy was there, unconscious, hypothermic, barely alive. He survived. But here's what makes no sense. That dog had never tracked before. No training, no history of search and rescue work. He just knew. The handler said the dog moved with purpose, not confusion. Didn't sniff randomly or circle back. Straight line to the child, like he'd memorized coordinates. You can call it scent tracking. You can call it coincidence. But coincidence doesn't sprint 2 miles through unmarked wilderness without hesitation. These stories share something beyond heroism. They share impossibility. Dogs operating outside the limits we've assigned them, reacting faster than logic allows, knowing things they shouldn't know, choosing action over instinct. We build entire frameworks to explain animal behavior, pattern recognition, conditioning, sensory advantages. And then a dog does something that shatters the framework entirely, and we're left with two choices: expand what we believe is possible, or keep pretending these are just flukes. 5 dogs. 5 moments where death was certain until it wasn't. Not because humans were prepared, because something with 4 legs and no concept of mortality decided otherwise. Maybe they smell fear. Maybe they hear what we can't. Or maybe, just maybe, they understand more than we've ever given them credit for. These aren't just good dogs. They're proof that intelligence doesn't always look the way we expect. And sometimes the smartest thing in the room doesn't need to speak to make itself heard. These dogs didn't save lives because they were trained to. They did it because somewhere between instinct and understanding they made a choice. We spend so much time trying to explain what animals can't do that we miss what they're already doing. Intelligence doesn't need permission to exist. Sometimes it just acts, and we're left wondering how we ever doubted it in the first place.